Hello and welcome to another LioranBoard 2 button tutorial video. This week we're looking at something I only recently added to my streams, sending an automated go live message to our Discord server when we go live and having it delete it when we end our stream. As an example, here's the first message I sent using a beta version of this button. I made a few minor changes since this first message, so it won't be exactly like this, but it's got a customizable message, the stream title and game name, and some color to it as well. As always, the button code is on my GitHub, which is linked in the video description. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is create the button. Open a deck, then either double click an empty spot or right click and click create button. Next, we need to create our triggers. Right click the button and select edit triggers. We're adding two triggers to this button and they're both OBS triggers. So click the plus button on screen, then select OBS trigger. Click the button to the right of the white box and select Stream Started, not Stream Starting as they're slightly different. Add a second OBS trigger, this time for Stream Stopped. Finally, click Save. Now we're going to add the commands. Either double click the button or right click and edit commands. Our first few commands are to determine what triggered the button, as that dictates which set of commands to run. First, we need a trigger pull data command to pull which trigger it was. Let's call the variable trigger, and the pull value is update-type. You'll need to type this manually as it doesn't appear in the drop-down list. Next, one of my favorite command combos in LioranBoard 2, switch case statements. These look at a variable and depending on its value can execute different commands. First, we'll need a switch statement, and the value we'll be looking at is the variable trigger. It's a yellow box, so we don't need to wrap the variable. Next, we need two case statements. So I'm going to add one, then copy and paste it to get a second. In the first case's white box, we're going to enter stream started, exactly as it was written in the trigger window. In the other case statement, we'll put stream stopped. Inside the stream started case, the first command we want to run is get Twitch connection info. This allows us to store the otherwise hidden connection info as a variable. In this case, our numerical ID. If you already know this, you can skip this step and enter it manually in the next command. The account login name is your username in lowercase, the variable is ID, and get is already on user ID. Next, we want a get channel info command. This returns data from Twitch on a specified user. Our user ID is stored in the variable ID. Since this is a white box, we need to wrap the variable name with dollars and slashes. If you knew your numerical ID, this is where you would enter it manually. We'll save this info to the variable twitchInfo. This command isn't instantaneous, so we'll need to add a wait until variable exists command. We're waiting for twitchInfo, and we'll set it to timeout after 1000 milliseconds. These next few commands aren't strictly necessary, but they allow for customization of the Discord message each time you go live. If you don't want that, skip the next three commands. The next one you want is the set string variable. First, we'll do a wait for user choice. When the button is run, this will bring up a box with yes/no options. The message we'll show will be, do you want to personalize your go live message? And we'll save the response as check. Next, we need an if statement, as our next command depends on which option we picked. If we clicked yes, check is true, so we need to wait to enter our personalized message. This is done with wait for user input, and when the button is run, it will bring up a box that allows us to enter text. The message we'll show will be, what do you want the message to say? And we'll add a reminder that we don't need to include the link, as that gets added to the message automatically. We won't set a default value, but we'll save the message as message. If we had selected no when asked, we'd still need to define the variable message. So to do that, we'll add a set string variable command here with message as the variable name, our default message in text. I chose something simple. Outside the if statement, but still inside the first case statement, our next commands get added, and these are in preparation for the send to Discord command. First, we need to pass an object, and we'll call this object Discord header. The JSON code we need is open curly brackets, quote marks, content-type, quote marks, colon, quote marks, application/JSON, quote marks, curly brackets, exactly as you see here. Next, we'll add our color for the message outline, so we need a hex string to number command. The variable will be color. I'm British, so I add the U. And the hex string I chose is the official Twitch purple hex code. But you can set this to any color you want. Just make sure the hex code is inside quote marks. Finally, the send to Discord command. Except it's not called that. It's called get HTTP request because it can be used for other services, not just Discord. The URL is a Discord webhook URL, and I'll quickly show you how to make one of those. In your Discord server, click the drop-down menu button at the top, then server settings. You need to have permission to view these and to create the webhook. So if you don't, speak to the owner of the server. Click integrations on the left, and then webhooks on the right, and then new webhook. A webhook allows you to post messages from a bot user in a channel. So first give your webhook a name, and then select the channel you wish to post to. Click copy webhook URL, and make sure you save the changes. Back in LioranBoard, paste that webhook URL into the first box in the get HTTP request command, and then add $wait equals true to the end. This tells Discord to send us back the information about the post. The method is post in capitals, and the header object is Discord header. The body field requires an object, and I found the easiest way to create this is to use a website called discohook.org, which I'll link to in the video description. There's a lot of information here that I won't be covering, but it's a very useful tool if you plan on doing more of this type of button. Delete everything manually like I'm doing, or click clear all at the top. This gives us a blank slate to work with. The content of the message is the variable message, and then we want to add an embed. So click add embed and expand body. The title is the variable twitchinfo.title, and the description is the variable twitchinfo.game_name. This puts the title of the stream and what game you're playing into the message. The URL is https://twitch.tv/ and then the variable twitchinfo.broadcaster_name. Make sure there's a double slash between TV and the first $sign. The color we'll set in a second. Close this embed info with the button on the left, and then select JSON Data Editor. This opens up a window with the entire JSON code for the message. Change this null here to the variable color. Then select it all and copy, or click copy to clipboard. Back in LioranBoard, paste that copied JSON code into body, and then we'll save the result to Discord response. Next, since HTTP requests aren't instant, we need to add another wait until variable exists command, this time waiting for Discord response with a timeout of 1000 milliseconds. We're going to add a command here to save the response to file, and that's in case LioranBoard crashes during your stream. I called the file name DALM-info, which stands for Discord Auto Live Message. I put the section as info and key as a result. Finally, the text field is the variable Discord response.result. Lastly, for this case, we need to convert the text response that we got from Discord, so we need the Parse Array /object command. The object's name is result, and the string it's stored in is the variable Discord response.result. For the stream stopped case, the first thing we need to do is find out if LioranBoard crashed since the stream started. To do that, we add an if statement that asks if the variable result.id is undefined. Leave the second box empty. If it is undefined, we need to load the info from the file we created earlier. For that, we need a file load text command. Make sure the first three boxes match the save text command from earlier, and we'll save it to result. Next, we need to pass that text into an object, so we'll need another parse array /object command. The first box is result without wrapping, and the second box is result with wrapping. Finally, since LioranBoard crashed, Discord header does not exist anymore, so we need to recreate it. For that, scroll up to where we created it in the first case, copy the command with the scissors button, and then scroll back down and paste it into the if statement we were working in. We're going to send another HTTP request, so copy the previous HTTP request command and paste it inside the second case, but outside that if statement. Go to the end of the URL and replace the question mark wait equals true with /messages/ and then a wrapped result.id. Make sure there are 2 slashes between messages and the first $sign. This time the method is delete. The header object is still Discord header, but the body is now empty, so select everything in that box and delete it. Lastly, we'll save the result to Discord delete. Again, this isn't instant, so we need another wait until variable exists command, waiting for Discord delete for 1000 milliseconds. Finally, for this button, we'll delete all the variables for the button. It's not strictly necessary if you plan to close LioranBoard before your next stream, but I've included it anyway, just in case. Add a delete variable command and leave the box blank to delete all the variables for the button. And that's it. Next time you go live, this will automatically post a Discord message to that channel, and then when you stop streaming, it will automatically delete it. I'll do a quick run through of the button again. First, we pull the trigger update type, and then we look at that value. If it's stream started, we get our Twitch user ID, and then use that to get our channel info. We wait for that to exist, then ask if we want to personalize our go live message. If we do, we ask what we want the message to be. Otherwise, we send a default message. Then we create the header object for the HTTP request, set the color variable, and then do the HTTP request to the Discord webhook with question mark wait equals true at the end of the URL. We wait for the response to exist, save it to text in case LioranBoard crashes, and then pass the text into a readable object. If the trigger update type was instead stream stopped, we look to see if LioranBoard crashed by checking the result ID. If it's undefined, we load the text from the file, pass it into an object, and then recreate the Discord header object. Then we send the delete HTTP request via the webhook with the /messages/result.id variable. Wait for the response to that, then delete all the button's variables. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.